Shocking warning from Sinner to Alcaraz ahead of Doha. The Italian normalized being eliminated by Noel in the first Grand Slam of the year, even pointing out everything he believes he learned from that match. Everyone was predicting an Australian Open final between Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner. However, Novak Djokovic had something to say about that in the semi-finals. The Serbian pushed his duel with Jannik to a fifth set and at that moment produced spectacular tennis. Such was Noel's physical and tennis level that Sinner was overwhelmed in a match situation where, in principle, he had everything going in his favor. Weeks after that encounter, Jannik recalled how he experienced his first defeat in 3 years at the Australian Open. Far from reproaching himself for the result, the Italian says he took positive things from it. The defeat against Djokovic taught me many things. It was a great match, both mine and his. I had my chances and sometimes things don't go as one expects, but that's sport. Now we are changing small details on the court and it takes time for them to become natural, but I've had good feedback. We must not forget that losing sometimes is normal, Jannik confessed in statements to the media present in Doha. The Italian insists it is simply a situation that can happen. I experienced it in a very normal way. I'm 24 years old and I just want to play good tennis anywhere in the world and that's it. Sometimes losing is fine. What I've done in the last 2 years, together with Alcaraz, has generated a lot of attention. It simply happened as it happened. Now let's try to get back into rhythm, feel the pressure of the tournament again and see what happens. Sinner arrives at the ATP 500 in Doha as one of the main candidates for the title. It should be remembered that he would only face Alcaraz in a hypothetical final, although the possibility of gaining points by advancing through the rounds is greater than that of the Spaniard. Unexpected message from Alcaraz in Doha for Sinner. Carlos Alcaraz has an extra day of preparation at the ATP 500 in Doha, where he reached the quarterfinals in his debut last season. He returns to Qatar strengthened by his first triumph at the Australian Open. On Sunday, February 1st, he became the youngest tennis player to win all 4 men's Grand Slam titles, at 22 years old. He reappears this Tuesday in his second official event of the campaign. He faces the round of 32 in Doha against Frenchman Arthur Rinderknecht. His main rival for the title, Italian Jannik Sinner, takes to the court this Monday against Czech Thomas Mikak. The Spaniard arrives at the tournament with his Melbourne homework done. The primary objective of 2026 has been achieved. In Doha, we've set some goals, but we're not talking about results. I think more match by match. We'll see later how far I can go. I don't want to project myself too early into the final, he said at the tournament's official press conference. His obsession is to keep improving his tennis. He neither relaxes nor is satisfied with his 7 Grand Slam crowns. I can't allow myself to lower my level, I have to keep taking steps forward. He demands the maximum from himself. Yes, I've had a lot of success so far, I've won the biggest tournaments, but I still see weaknesses in myself, he says, after having worked on new tweaks to his serve motion during the preseason with Samuel Lopez and his brother Alvaro Alcaraz. There are many players who want to catch me. They study my game, they look for how to beat me, how to challenge me. I have to be ready, get into their minds and understand what they can do against me, says a cautious Carlos Alcaraz, driven by the ambition to continue dominating the circuit. The world number 1 wants to finish his career alongside the legends of this sport, with the Big Three as a reference in the pursuit of every record. My week in Doha will be successful if I do things right on and off the court. I want to feel that I'm doing what needs to be done, he declared. The demanding challenge Alcaraz faces in Doha, the entire tournament without rest. Alcaraz is already training and looking toward Doha, the next objective on his 2026 tennis roadmap. After reaching glory in Melbourne, becoming the youngest player in history to win all the Grand Slams, he decided to take a brief break. He withdrew from the indoor ATP 500 in Rotterdam, where he was defending his title from last season, and moved his training base to his native Murcia. Family, friends, and tennis. According to Ok Diario, Alcaraz has been practicing in Doha since last Saturday. His debut against Rinderknecht is expected to be next Tuesday the 17th, which leaves Alcaraz facing a demanding schedule. The tournament runs from Monday the 16th to Saturday the 21st of February, when the final will be played. Debuting on Tuesday instead of Monday, as last year, forces Alcaraz to play 5 consecutive days without rest if he reaches the final in Doha. His hypothetical path to the final, where he would presumably face Sinner, is no walk in the park. In the next round he would meet Valentin Royer or a qualifier, Wednesday the 18th, in the quarterfinals, Thursday the 19th, the powerful Kachanov, then in the semifinals, Friday the 20th, Medvedev or the 2-time champion Andrei Rublev, and the hypothetical final against Sinner on Saturday the 21st. 5 days without rest for Alcaraz in Doha. Alcaraz arrives in Doha liberated. When Djokovic's forehand went long, everything made sense for Alcaraz. He dropped to the Rod Laver Arena and lay on the court with his arms open. Carlitos had been visualizing this success at the start of every season, and there it was, on his 5th attempt. At the most necessary moment to avoid losing confidence in himself. After his abrupt split with Juan Carlos Ferrero and with Samu Lopez as his main coach, uncertainty was in the air. Alcaraz bet on Samu and is going all the way with him. He's one of the best coaches, if not the best, he assured during his stay in Australia. Doubts about his immediate performance with a new coach quickly arose. Public opinion, largely unaware of Samu Lopez's knowledge, one of the people who knows the circuit best, was harsh. Samu's career has been built quietly with great dedication. Hypotheses about Carlitos fueled debates and dominated media headlines. Alcaraz has also freed himself from them with his triumph in Melbourne. I remember the people who said I wouldn't make it, who thought I would come to Australia and not get past the quarterfinals and not play good tennis. I remember those people. It seems ironic. I have to remember my people, but that mentality is with me now. I came here not to tell everyone that I'm capable, but to prove it to myself. I came with excitement and that's what I should keep, but the first thing that came to my mind was that, he said with the trophy already in his hands. Today, Sunday, February 15th, marks 1 year since the official announcement of Jannik Sinner's suspension for his positive test for clostridiol, an episode that shook the tennis world and put the then world number 1 under scrutiny. It was a complex case, with no proven intent to dope, but it ended with an agreed suspension and now, looking at the calendar, leaves the Italian facing an unexpected opportunity. The origin of the case dates back to March 2024, when Sinner tested positive for clostridiol metabolites during the Indian Wells tournament and in a second test carried out days later out of competition. Clostridiol is an anabolic steroid included on the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, list of prohibited substances. From the beginning, the player's entourage defended that the presence of the substance was accidental. According to the version later accepted by anti-doping bodies, the clostridiol entered Sinner's body through transdermal contamination, via a spray used by his physiotherapist during treatment, without the player's knowledge. An independent tribunal of the ISHA, International Tennis Integrity Agency, initially concluded that there was no fault or negligence on the part of the player and decided not to impose a sporting sanction, although the points and prize money earned at Indian Wells were withdrawn. However, the case did not end there. WADA appealed the decision to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, considering that despite the lack of intent, the World Anti-Doping Code establishes the athlete's responsibility for any substance present in their body. Before the hearing was held, both parties reached an agreement. On February 15, 2025, a 3-month suspension was officially announced, effective retroactively from February 9 to May 4. WADA acknowledged that Sinner did not seek a competitive advantage but defended the sanction as a strict application of the regulations. Shocking Doha draw that has benefited Carlos Alcaraz. Stay until the end to learn all the details. The Doha draw brings surprises, Sinner with a difficult path, Alcaraz with a favorable one. The French players are looking to make the most of their opportunities. 2 weeks after the end of the Australian Open, the leading duo of the ATP circuit returns at the Doha tournament. The draw for the Qatari tournament, which has belonged to the ATP 500 category since last year, was held this Saturday. Sinner not favored, Carlos Alcaraz, eliminated in the quarterfinals last year, will start his week against Arthur Rinderknecht. He has been rather spared in the draw, as he is in Karen Khachanov's section, who is far from his best form at the start of this season. In the lower half of the draw, Jannik Sinner will have plenty to deal with from the outset against Thomas Macaque, world number 31 and winner of the Adelaide tournament in January. He could also face another Czech in the quarterfinals in Jakub Mensik.